Welcome back to Universe. I'm Andrew, and in this video, I am completing my RoboMon prototype playthrough. This is a game that is currently, as I record this, crowdfunding on GameFound. Although, as this video is posted, I believe this is going to be the final day. I'm not sure actually how many hours are left, or I could even miss the closing of the campaign. But if you're seeing this as it goes up, definitely jump over to the link in the description and check it out. This is a full spoiler playthrough. This is the final couple pages of the prototype demo that I have. But if you don't want that spoiler, just watch until you have enough of a sense of the game and then wait for your final copy. Alternatively, you can check out the beginning of the series, which was the tutorial playthrough at Copper Ridge, where I kick off everything. And you can find the links for that in the description as well. But with that out of the way, if you saw the previous episode, you know that I encountered this particular puzzle. In fact, if you listen to the end of the episode, you probably heard me talk about it quite a bit. I didn't solve this puzzle during the previous recording, but I did solve it in the interim. So I'm going to go ahead and turn to my answer in the book, and we can see what happens. So basically, I had run across a RoboMon that was not functioning. I was able to fix it. It says, for a moment, nothing happens. Then the humming fades, replaced by the unmistakable sound of a RoboMon's internal systems booting up. You grin. And 1 mechanical certification point and RoboMon 48. So the certification point will go into my certificate section. So I now have 2 mechanical certification points. I gained RoboMon 48, which I put at the top of this stack here. And of course, I already peeked. I was excited as soon as I solved the puzzle, but here we have Blizzbird, my first Ice-type RoboMon, 8 health, 7 energy, an endurance bonus for my skill checks, 3 movement, 46 speed, basic attack headbutt, special attack Ice Blast, and Water Jet lets it move extra spaces in water at the cost of 1 energy. Add this to my team because I'm going to have to try out an Ice-type, right? I got my shiny RoboMon Tertellian, which is from one of my recent videos, as well as the upgraded RoboMon Armadillox, also from one of the previous videos. Question is, who do I replace? I probably don't need 2 water types. So even though I think Propulfin's better, I'm going to keep my shiny Tertellian and replace Propulfin, which means Propulfin is going to go into the save box along with my other stored RoboMon. I also need to pull a journal entry, number 48, and add that to my journal. Blizzbird, it says it surveys icy areas to keep records up to date. Go into my journal here. May very well be the final entry that I'm going to have in this playthrough alongside Finrid and Tertellian. And since I am playing with that shiny variant that I invented a couple episodes ago, I should go ahead and roll a D100 to see if my new Blizzbird is shiny, but it's not. 33, I needed 100, which is all zeros on the D100 there. With all that out of the way, we find ourselves at Slurry Steppe. I'm going to try to go through 2 pages today so we get through the rest of the content. So I'll probably be skipping some battles. There's the QR code for the Slurry Steppe music. So go ahead and hit play on that. And then we can get into the lore here. It says Slurry Steppe has grown immensely over the last 10 years and become the largest city in Alloy. Of course, as the city grows, so does its problems. And at one point, several factions were vying for overall control, each with its own promise of how to fix things. The splintering created deep divides in the population, which sometimes led to violence. Over the last year, however, the city has become much more peaceful as the culture has shifted in many sectors to a much more harmonious way of life, free of debate and conflict. Only time will tell if the culture shift is permanent or simply a phase. Many believe that the future of Slurry Steppe is the future of Alloy as a whole. A single search table with a magnifying glass. I think we'll just make 1 roll on that. And the wild RoboMon chart. So these are the wild RoboMon we could try to find. Probably will be skipping that today. So if you don't know how the wild RoboMon finder works, definitely check out one of our previous episodes for that. And then let's just take a peaceful look at the map, see what's going on here. So I'm curious because the description said that this is the biggest city in Alloy, but we've just pretty much come from Port Platinum, which was 4 whole map pages of city quadrants. And I happen to know that we can't go north through here. So this looks like it might be a construction worker telling us that we can't actually get into the city right now. So this is just the front of the city. Thematically, we are coming in this way. Mechanically, we can go anywhere. So first of all, we do see a hover bus icon. So I could write that down, but I can move between hover bus stops at will, along with Port Platinum Southwest in Copper Ridge. Although talking about the open world nature of the game, you can go anywhere at any time anyway. I believe the hover bus stops might not even make the final cut, or at the most, they'll just be reference points for where you might want to jump to. But let's go ahead, let's continue this. So let's talk to this woman. She's working with this robot here, 2409. So this is just a bit of lore. This is a disenfranchised robotics specialist working on a septic robot in frustration. She used to have a much higher status and has lost it due to someone called Hans embezzling money. Apparently they were working on something very special. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the world building pay off in the final version. But let's go ahead and do our search. So we're going to roll on this search chart, roll a D4, and just get some little item here. 2 means we get a coolant. So that's my second one of those. I assume that's another component that can be used to upgrade RoboMon if you have the blueprints for it. To this exploration symbol at 2709. So I found someone whose name tag says Maurice, and he's trying to fix some septic parts that will clear out this water, but the valves are like rusted and corroded shut. So we're going to use a strength check and see if we can get them open. My character sheet says my strength is a 0, so I'm going to roll 2d6 and add 0, except that my pal Pandal here has the strength icon in his little image there, which means I get an extra +1 total. None of my other RoboMon are going to help. So just me and Pandal are going to try. 4 + 2 is 6, +1 is 7. I think that's probably the key point I needed to get to this 7 to 9 threshold here, which means we got most of the valves open. We get a coolant and a small repair kit. Some back-to-back coolants there. We're up to 8 small repair kits, so we don't have to be shy about using those. Well, let's talk to this guy at the gate at 10:09. Stop right there, the security guard says gruffly. We've got a level 5 Radazon infestation going on here, so the city has been shut down until further notice. No one is allowed in or out. I guess we won't be visiting the Zirconia Casino today. Indeed, I had heard about that Radazon infestation on the news earlier on in the playthrough, so shouldn't be surprised. Let's go back over this way to 3310, which is a battle. Programmer Juan says, win or lose, it's all binary. It's as simple as 011011. 1, 2, 3. He's RoboMon 18 and 14. Looks like he's a Burn Viper and Aquadial, Fire and Water. Look at those guys. Well, I pick my team, and what the heck, I'm going to use my Armadillox and Blizzbird, new RoboMon, and my upgraded RoboMon. So they're all pretty slow. Burn Viper is actually the fastest at 54. We have a 46, a 45, and a 44. All right, so being the fastest, Burn Viper gets to go first. So I'll roll a d4 to see what it wants to do. I got a 1, which means it wants to target our fastest RoboMon with a Tail Whip. Our fastest RoboMon is Blizzbird. Tail Whip has a range of 2, and Burn Viper has 5 movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight toward Blizzbird. Still doesn't get within range 2. So that is the end of Burn Viper's turn. And next up at 2 is Blizzbird. But we don't actually want to do an Ice Blast with Blizzbird because Ice is disadvantaged against a Fire type. So Ice, disadvantaged against Fire. So we can probably maybe try to do a Headbutt. I'm a little rusty after a week, and as a couple of commenters pointed out, I've made tons of errors anyway, so maybe being rusty doesn't matter, but I forgot to roll my action dice. That's what I'm getting at. Now, we did get some basic attack symbols. We can use a Headbutt. Headbutt with 3 dice would be good, and we can save that action token in case we need the armor. 3 symbols means we use the 3rd damage value of 3. This is a melee attack, so we're going to need to get in range as well, so we'll use a movement to move 1, 2, 3 spaces. Puts us in melee range to use Headbutt, and now we'll use the black modifier die to modify 3 damage. With the 0 means it's just going to be a straight up 3. In addition to that, Burn Viper should have 1 armor token, and Aquadial should have 1 armor token, but the piercing symbol means this 3 damage is going to ignore the armor token and just go directly against Burn Viper's 6 hit points. So if we can finish it off with another piercing Headbutt, we can ignore the 2 damage that would be required to break that armor. Hopefully the rain that has started up a couple minutes ago is not too loud, but for me it's extremely loud. Anyway, next up will be Aquadial. So we'll roll a d4 for Aquadial. A 1 means Aquadial wants to target our fastest RoboMon. Again, that's going to be Blizzbird, this time with a bite. Movement of 4 is not going to get it very far, though. Definitely not close enough. Which leaves Armadillox to close out the round, although we didn't really save it very many dice. It can use Burrow, which reminds me I need to spend Blizzbird's 2 energy for that headbutt. Armadillox's Burrow can probably get it to wherever it wants to go. I'm wondering, do I just want to save Burn Viper for Blizzbird to finish off? Even though Earth is advantaged against fire, but not water. It's not disadvantaged, though. Rock, though, has a range of 5, which is pretty nice, too. Let's definitely use a movement to move 3 spaces. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. Range of 5, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just out of range of Aquadile. Oh, interesting. Burrow is an attack. It has 3 or 5 damage on it. It's a melee attack. So let's do that. Yeah, that looks fun. So that is a special attack. So we're going to use this wild as a special, which requires us to spend 1 energy to transfer the wild. We also need to spend 2 energy to use Burrow. So that puts Armadillox down to 7 remaining. Gets to move 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as a range attack, it doesn't work. But as a melee attack, we are now next to the Aquadile, and we use the basic or the special attack. We'll use the action token as a special attack symbol. So we're attacking with 2 symbols, so we do the second value, which is 5. This is an Earth type attack against a Water RoboMon, which means we're going to use the normal black die. 5 damage, 0 is just straight up 5. 2 of that is prevented by the armor, and the other 3 goes through against Aquadile's 7 hit points. That is round 1, so we can roll up our action dice for round 2. A little bit of armor, a lot of movement. First up is Burn Viper, gets a 3. Means it wants to target a nature or ice type, which sounds scary because we do have an ice type. It's probably going to mean it wants to do a typed special attack, and indeed that is a flamethrower. Fire has advantage against ice, so that's 5 damage with advantage coming in at Blizzbird. So 5 with the green modifier die, plus 3 is 8 damage to Blizzbird. He might just prefer to have been left in the swamp at this point. We can prevent 4 of that, 2 with the armor and 2 with our action token. We'll use it to defend, so that's 4 prevented. That's all we can do, so the other 4 is going to go through against Blizzbird's 8 health. But Blizzbird gets to go next, and this time we don't have 3 basic attack symbols in order to pierce through, so our headbutt plan might not be working out. We could roll a +2 on it, though. So I guess let's just see how this goes. We're going to use 1 basic attack symbol to use a headbutt for 1 with the die. Black die is 1, 0. So just a 1. I mean, Burn Viper still has 2 health left. So now I'm wondering if our Armadillox should finish it off. So Blizzbird doesn't have to take a giant flamethrower again. But it is Aquadile's turn. And with a 2, it wants to target our lowest health Robomon, which is going to be Blizzbird, with a tail whip, which has a range of 2. Means it is going to move to get into range. So 1, 2, it just needs to get to here. So 1, 2, 3. It can actually move through other Robomon, but not a big deal. It's going to be 2 damage with the black modifier die. 0, so that's 2 damage, and we've already used all our armor for the turn, so Blizzbird has 2 health left. Armadillox gets to go next. I feel like you can probably finish off whoever it hits. It needs to do 4 damage to Burn Viper or 4 damage to Aquadile, but it doesn't have it and hit multiple enemies. But I'm more afraid of Blizzbird at this point because of Burn Viper's flamethrower, so I'm going to have Armadillox target the Burn Viper. So we're going to get a movement, go 3 spaces, 2 spaces is fine. We have 1 special attack symbol remaining, so we'll use our token for a second one, and that way we're doing a rock throw for 4. I guess we could have just done it from range, but I'll leave it at that. You have to spend 3 energy for that, which reminds me again, I forgot to spend Blizzbird's second headbutt energy. So against Burn Viper, actually Earth is advantaged against fire, so we do get to roll the green die for this attack. So 4 plus 2 is 6, minus 2 is 4, which is plenty to take out Burn Viper. So at least Blizzbird will be safe from that. In fact, that will close out the round. We'll roll our action dice again. This time Blizzbird will get to go first because Burn Viper is out of commission. And now let's go ahead and use Ice Blast because it's fun. And we're going to use our action token plus these 2 to make it an attack for 4. We will need to move to get into position of that targeting symbol there. We don't hit our friend because these attacks don't hit friends. It's a nice type attack, which is neither advantage nor disadvantage against water. So we're going to roll the black die with 4 damage. I'm also going to roll a d4 to see if the Aquadile gets paralyzed. +1, that means 5 damage. 3 means it's not paralyzed, with 5 damage. We'll finish off the Aquadile. And for winning, Programmer 1 gives us 2 silver and a battery. And I'm going to use one of my small repair kits right now to heal all damage from one RoboMon, clear up Blizzbird's condition. And we have one more node to check out, which is this Evolve Upload Lies poster at 1910. Behind the billboard, you find a note trampled in the mud. It reads, "After we ate lunch, I heard the Rangers were after you too, so hide the formula until the heat is off. Kid seems benign, but I don't trust him." You look up and see a small maintenance shaft door and a keypad. Well, that definitely sounds storyline-ish. Sounds like something that could have expanded entry in the final game. I wonder if I'm the kid. Am I the kid there? I'm benign. You can trust me. But anyway, that is it for the Slurry Steppe as it currently exists. You can travel east to page 11 to Lafferty Robotics here in the woods. But back to some familiar exploration music, so we'll hit play. Lafferty Robotics was once the powerhouse of robot production and innovation for the entire province. However, a string of bad business decisions and scandals led to the company closing its doors several years ago, which caused an overall downturn in the area's economy as so many jobs were lost. Many of the former employees wound up working for an upstart robotics company in Slurry Steppe, while others left the province completely. Allegedly, Mr. Lafferty's son continues to pursue his father's vision. No one has heard from him for quite some time. We have a search icon chart. We'll get to use that twice, as well as this time a treasure chest, and again some wild RoboMon that we won't be hunting today. And you can take a look at the map. All its glory, glorious junk, and dilapidated buildings. I think I'll go ahead and check off in the woods first up here at this exploration symbol at 1811. So I found a bunch of teenagers doing tricks on their hoverboards, and unlike some other adventuring, monster collecting, and battling games, we are not 12 here. I think we're 17 years old, so we fit right in, right? And they want us to see if we can do any hoverboard tricks, which is going to require an agility check. My agility is +1. Regenaire and Fruit Flyer can help me out with my tricks as well. I'm going to get a +3 to this check of 2d6, which is good because 3, 6, 8 again puts me in that barely passing category. We're able to do a trick without embarrassing ourselves too much, so we get a quick charge, which can refresh all of a RoboMon's energy in battle. So I've got 4 of those. We can come back around. There's nothing over here. We come in through the gate. I'll go ahead and resolve the search icons as well as the treasure chest before I forget about it. So search icons 1 and 2. 4 is a circuit board and another circuit board. And for the treasure chest, we get 7 silver. Pretty good rolls. So 3 circuit boards, got 20 silver written down, and 17 more in tokens. You can split it up however you want. Whatever's most convenient. Just leaves a few nodes left. I'll have completed the demo. Let's talk to this guy, old man in the wheelchair at 3311. He actually wants to battle, so let's put a pin in that. Probably do one more battle to close out this video. May or may not be against him. Do this exploration here, 2211. So we found someone called Kaya who seems to live in this truck, hoping for the glory days of Lafferty Robotics to return to no avail. She might know her way around, so I'm going to do a charisma check and see if she can recommend anything for me to look into. Again, 2d6. This time Armadillux can help with a +1, being a very charismatic RoboMon. My own stat for charisma is a 0, so it's just going to be the +1. And we get a 9, just short of 10 though. She's able to point me toward some bins where I can find a bolt and a metal. So 2 bolts and 3 metals, some more upgrading parts. And then over here, this guy in a fancy suit with a nice red tie is 3712. That's another battle, and it's Tycoon Richard. You know what? Let's make it an epic battle. This is going to be the conclusion of the series. So I'm going to battle all of their RoboMon with my team. And on top of that, I'm going to throw in an extra challenge, which is this that's been taunting me. There were 2 large RoboMon included with the prototype. One of them you already saw if you watched my battle against Waverly. The other one I was waiting for to show up at some point, and it didn't. So now I'm just going to add it into the battle as the final boss in this fight. So we'll hit the forest battle music. Tycoon Richard says, I hope you've invested in this battle as much as I have, or it won't be worth my time. Over here, Old Man Edwin had said, I came into this world with nothing and I still have most of it. Question is, which map do I want to use? I think this looks a little more interesting. I'll mix up their RoboMon in numerical order. So we have 7, 14, 17, and 19. And the last guy to come out is going to be number 13. So I'll put them up here. 7 and 14, then 17, 19, and 13. Just keep it face down for suspense. Who do I want to send out first? Let's try Tertellian and Reginair. Save some of our heavy hitters for later. My team also has pretty low energy, so they might not be lasting long. 1 armor for Burn Viper and 2 for Reladybug. Speeds are 66, 54, 52, and 5. Roll up our action dice. Some movement so we can hopefully get into position. And then Burn Viper. Oh no, Reginair is up first. 66. Brought an air type for advantage against fire, so let's see if we can hit Burn Viper. Let's give it 1 movement. Move 1, 2, 3. And then it has a tailspin ability that lets it move 3 extra spaces as though it had flying. So we can go 1, 2, 3. Get right over that difficult terrain. Fan Attack has range 3. 1, 2, 3. So we're still 2 away. So let's give it another movement. Go 1, 2, 3. Now we can hit it with the Fan Attack. Let's use the basic attack symbol. Now, you know what? We might want to save this for armor, and 3 and 4 are pretty close. So let's just use these 2 special attack symbols. You know what? We're going all out, right? We're going to run out of energy soon anyway. So let's just make it 3 attack symbols. It means we have to spend 2 energy to convert the wilds, 2 more to use Fan Attack. Reginair is already down to 2 energy. Making an attack for 4. Air is advantaged against fire, so we're going to hit Burn Viper. 4 with the green die, plus 3 is 7. 2 armor brings it down to 5, and Burn Viper has 1 out of its 6 health remaining, just like that. Not bad, Reginair. Burn Viper's up next. D4 means 2. It wants to target our slowest RoboMon. That's going to be Tertellian. And it's going to want to use Constrict, which is melee. Don't think it's going to work. But let's just say that it wants to move as far as it can toward Tertellian without leaving melee range to be able to hit somebody. So with 5 movement, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's getting closer to Tertellian, but it's still in melee adjacency to hit somebody. So it's going to go ahead and Constrict Reginair. A 3 damage attack with a trap, which means we're going to roll a d4 to see if Reginair gets trapped. 3 damage, unmodified is 3, but it does get trapped. A 1 on the d4 means it's trapped. We may as well block that 2 of that, so Reginair will take 1 damage. The trap means Reginair is not going to be able to attack on its next turn, or rather it can't move, and if it does attack, it will be disadvantaged no matter what. So as a successful Constrict. Ladybug is next. Roll a 3, which means Ladybug wants to target an air or water type with a zap. That is range 2, so it is going to have to move. If it's 4 movement, it can move 2 spaces, which puts it in range 2 to Reginair, so it can zap. And that is 3 damage with advantage, and now we're rolling for paralysis. So again, Reginair could be paralyzed and trapped. And it is. So it's 3 damage plus 2 is 5, and that puts Reginair up to 6 damage out of its 10 health. And that Reginair is also paralyzed. But if you're going to be paralyzed and trapped, it may as well be on the same turn, because paralyzed means it can't do anything on its next turn. It means the trap is kind of irrelevant. And on top of that, now that it's been trapped and paralyzed, future paralyze and trap attempts will require a d6 roll instead of a d4 roll, and they're still only successful on a 1. It's then Tertellian's turn, but we don't have many dice left, but it might be able to finish off Burn Viper. Let's see what our shiny Tertellian can do. The Water Blast has a okay range, so it could attack from here. Its movement is 3, so if we give it 1 movement die, 1, 2, 3, into the water. The Tertellian has a swim speed, so it doesn't care about water restrictions. Normally RoboMon take 2 movement to get out of water, or to leave a water space. So even a non water swimming RoboMon wouldn't be affected with the current movement we just did. But anyway, we'll spend 2 energy to make that water blast, which targets 3 spaces in a straight line. That includes the Burn Viper. We only have 1 special attack symbol, so we're doing the first damage value, which is 2, but water is advantaged against fire, so we'll roll the green die, which is guaranteed to finish off Burn Viper. We only had 1 health left. All right, that will end this round of our epic final battle. Go up for round 2. Some more movement, some attacks, and some armor. Nice spread. Regener is up first, but it can't do anything because of the paralysis, so we're going to move both of these tokens off. We're going to move them onto Regener itself to remind us that future trap and paralysis attempts will require a d6. On initiative count 2, that is the Burn Viper's turn, but Burn Viper's not there, which means the next RoboMon on our opponent's team is going to come out into that position, but it won't act. It's just going to go into that starting space. We will recalculate initiative at the beginning of the next round. Ladybug is next, so we'll roll a d4 for that. On a 2, it wants to target a water or air RoboMon with a zap. So again, exact same thing as last time. Going to roll the green advantage die and a d6 to check for paralysis. No paralysis, plus 2 means it's 5 damage, which would take out Regener. We can block 2 with that. We can block 2 more with the action token. And I already forgot which number I said, but I think that's just 1 more damage. But I'm not sure if it matters because Regener is probably going to be running itself out of energy on its next turn. Finally, it is Tertullian's turn. We do have 3 movement dice that we can give it, which would let it move 9 times. Fortunately, these RoboMon are just out of position to get hit by a lined up water blast. So Armadillo should have 1 armor. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That'll work. So all 3 dice to move. And we'll do a water blast with 2 special attack symbols, 2 energy, and we're attacking for 4 with advantage against Armadillo. His water is advantaged against Earth, plus 2 is 6. Break that armor, brings it down to 4 out of 9 health. And it's back to the top. We haven't lost anybody yet, and Regener's up first. So Regener has an air special attack, which is disadvantaged against Ladybug, but it has a mediocre, serviceable scratch. You might want to start damage on Ladybug and leave Armadillo to Tertullian. You know what? If we scratch, we can hope to survive another turn. It might not happen, but the scratch only costs 1 energy, and Regener has 2. So let's do that. I'm going to use Tailspin to move 1, 2, 3 into melee range, and use Scratch with, you know what, I'm going to risk it. We're going to do the token and the basic attack symbol to attack for 3 against Ladybug, and we're hoping for at least a +1. +1, so that's 4, which means both armor's broken. So that is nice, and that only cost 1 of Regener's 2 energy. So it's barely hanging on. And I should have recalculated initiative. Regener is still first, but Ladybug is actually second, Armadillo third, and then Tertullian last. So Ladybug is going to go next, and on a 2, that is another zap, but it actually prioritizes a water type RoboMon on a 2. On a 3, it would prioritize an air type, but on a 2, prioritizes water. So it's going to go for our Tertullian with the zap at range 2. 1, 2, so it needs to move at least once. Too bad it didn't move again to get into a great water blast range. But anyway, that's going to be 3 damage with advantage and a check for paralysis. So not paralyzed on a 2, but 3 plus 3 is 6. Tertullian only has 7 health, so let's use the token to block a little bit. But you know what? Maybe not even bother, because Tertullian only has 2 energy left. What is it even going to do? I'm just going to let it take 6, because I think Tertullian is on his way out as well. I guess it could depend on what Armadillo does, because it is his turn now. And that is a 2, which wants to target a fire or electric type, which we don't have. Incidentally, I've been playing this wrong the whole campaign. Someone pointed out to me, which is that when it is unclear or undetermined by the AI of the card which RoboMon of mine would be targeted, they actually go for my first position RoboMon, which I guess technically is whoever started here. For the enemies, it's very clear that it is 1 and 2. From my side, it is not really clear. Is this 1 and this is 2? Or, I mean, the way I'm showing it on screen, maybe this is 1 and this is 2. Although that's actually inverted from how I started them. So the whole campaign long, I've just been deciding, but it's actually determined in that order. So I'm going to say this was my 1 and this was my 2, because that matches up with their 1 and their 2, which means Regener was actually number 1. So Armadillo wants to target Regener with a rock throw, which incidentally, Earth is disadvantaged against air, It's going to be 3 damage, range 2, which it is in range of that. So 3 damage with the disadvantage modifier die. And that's -3 for 0. So, promise I did not just decide that Regener would be the target because of the disadvantage. I really think that the position makes the most sense because it matches those positions. That makes it Tertullian's turn. And if I don't want to have it go down from energy this turn, I could refresh its energy with a quick charge item, but it already has 6 out of 7 damage on it, so I might not bother. I could bite though, just like I did with Regener, and let it save a bit. But nah, I'm going to go down swinging here. We're going to use this action token as a special attack along with that to make a 4 damage water blast. We got to spend 2 energy for that, so Tertullian is going to be out of energy. This will be its final turn, because again, I'm choosing not to quick charge and refresh it. We got 4 more RoboMon that we want to show off in our spectacular final battle. So 4 damage with advantage against Armadillo is a total of 6, which is 1 more than we needed to finish him off. So Ladybug is really sticking it out. And as we end the turn, Tertullian is down. So we'll roll up 7 action dice again, though I have a feeling we're not going to be using too many of them. Regener gets to go first. It doesn't have any nice juicy targets for an air attack, so we might just be doing another scratch. All the dice are at our disposal. I definitely think that a 3 damage scratch with the basic modifier die is better than a 4 damage fan attack with the red modifier die. It has -2, -3, and miss on it. So let's do a scratch. We're going to overspend Regener's energy. It only has 1 left. Be a quick charge here, but it's only 3 health left. And it could just get zapped to oblivion. You know what? We know that the next RoboMon to come out is going to be a nature type. We looked at that Nausea in advance. And air is advantaged against grass or nature. So I'm going to quick charge. Let's keep Regener around. So I'm still not totally sure whether you can spend your last energy and then quick charge afterward, but that seems a little wonky. So I'm going to say that I've got to recharge while it still has some energy. So it's down to 1, back up to 6, and then we are going to do a scratch. Use the basic attack token and the symbol to scratch for 3 damage. Basic modifier die becomes 4 damage, which is going to be 4 out of 7. Up next is Ladybug. Roll a d4 for it. Got a 2 again. Target a water or air type with a zap. So that is going to be advantage, though. This is what we were worried about. 3 damage plus 3 is 6. Not paralyzed, which is nice. We're going to spend an energy to change this into an armor. And we use this armor and take 2 damage. Now it has 9 damage on it. Up next is initiative count 3, the knocked out Armadillo, which means our opponent's going to send out their next RoboMon, which is Nausea, but not do anything with it this turn. And then it's our turn to send out our next RoboMon to replace Tertullian. I'm going to give my ice type Blizzbird a chance. It's another interesting question. Does he have to come out on the second spot? I think you can send out wherever you want. They're both available. So, or is it because it's replacing my second RoboMon it has to go here? I don't know, but actually I'll do that because it's better for it to be here anyway, a little bit. So back to the top of the round. Lost track of which round it is. Wild, a little bit of movement and some attacks, and we got to recalculate initiative again. That's 66, 52, 46, and then Nausea will be last with 40. Nausea does also have an armor, however. Regener's up first. Got 5 energy now. We want to go for advantage against Nausea or try to get rid of that Ladybug before it gets to zap us again. I think I will just go for a scratch and hope we can finish it off. So we're going to do a 2 symbol scratch for 3 damage and just hope for a 0 or better. 0 is good enough to do 3 damage, which finishes off Ladybug with its 7 health. That's nice. We keep denying our opponent's turns. I don't think Blizzbird is going to get in range. I'm going to use Regener's Tailspin to move back a little bit and hopefully pull their RoboMon toward us. On Blizzbird's turn, we can do this movement to move 3. 1, 2, 3. Water Jet is kind of a weird ability. It says we can move 3 extra spaces in water. Does that mean the ability has to be initiated while in water? If I used it now, since I'm in water, could I move 3 spaces? But 2 of those spaces weren't in water. 2 of those spaces were from water. I have to start and end that movement in water, which is weird. Most of the water spaces I've seen in the game on the maps are not that big. So I'm going to say I can water jet as long as I've started in a water space to jet and then just go. So I'm going to spend 1 energy to water jet 1, 2, 3. And I'm not going to use these wilds, I think, to get too close. So let's leave it at that and see what Nassau wants to do. Well, actually, I kind of skipped the initiative count too. I was thinking we knocked out Ladybug. It actually does spend that turn sending out the next RoboMon, which is our heretofore unrevealed card, number 13, the Combo Vine. So you saw some of these an episode or two ago, wandering around, helping out with farming and such. This is a 15 health RoboMon, very slow, a nature type with some big attacks. And speaking of big, its token on the board is also big old Combo Vine. So we're going to put him here in this space. It actually is a bit more tempting to use Blitzbird's turn to get him in range. How much energy we would have to spend to make an efficient Ice Blast? 1, 2, 3. Really need to be here, so we'd have to move 2 more times. And then we could use these 2 special symbols plus the token for 3 symbols to do Ice Blast for 4 damage against 2 nature types, both of which we'll have advantage against with our ice move. I'm going to do it. We're going to spend 2 energy just to convert these wilds into movement in order to get Blizzbird in range. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Then we're going to do Ice Blast. Oh, no, we actually need to move that 3rd space so we can target the cardinal orthogonal spaces. And then those 3 symbols to do 4 damage. We'll target Nassau first with advantage. 4 plus 3 is 7. Which I think this damage must be left over. But -2 and then 5 damage leaves it with 1 health. Also need to roll the d4 to see if it's paralyzed, but it's not. And then against Combo Vine, we'll roll the same dice. 4 plus 3 is 7. Not paralyzed. Combo Vine has 2 armor, so that blocks 4 of the damage. 3 more goes through against its 15 health. Also have to spend that 2 energy for the Ice Blast itself. Means Blizzbird's already down to 2 on its first turn. Initiative count 4 is the Nassau. So let's see what it wants to do. 3 means it wants to target an electric, earth, or water type, which we don't have. So it'll be targeting our initiative, our first position RoboMon, which is Regenair, if it can. 3 means it wants to do Buzzsaw, which is a range 2 attack. It has range or movement 5. 1, 2. Actually gets it into range, so it'll stop there and do Buzzsaw. So if it's adjacent to a tree, it does +3 more damage and gains the trap ability, but that's not the case. It's just going to be 3 damage, but nature against air is actually disadvantaged. So we'll be rolling the red die. 3 minus 2 is 1. It's a Regenair, which would take it out, but we actually just have the exact die left over we need, the armor. Back to the top of the round. Roll up our dice. A few armor, a bunch of attacking, and we'll recalculate initiative again. 66, 46. Blizzbird, we actually have a couple slow nature type attackers over there. Nassau at 40 and Combo Vine at 38. Which means Blizzbird's not going to be able to pull off its Ice Blast again. It's just out of position for that, or the enemies are. Regenair's up first, and Nassau only has 1 health left. Combo Vine has a lot, so let's just see. Maybe Regenair can start on Combo Vine, and Blizzbird should be able to finish off Nassau. So I'm going to have Regenair tailspin 3 spaces across the difficult terrain over to here. Get away from Nassau just in case. Also, Combo Vine's going to have a difficult time navigating this difficult terrain. It's very slow, but it can still hit it if it wants to. But anyway, we'll see. Range 3 on fan attack. 1, 2, 3 can hit the Combo Vine. It's just a matter of, can we scrounge up 3 special attack symbols? We'll use these 2, and may as well use the token for 3 symbols. Cost of 2 energy, leaves Regenair with 2 energy again. And that's attack for 4 with advantage. Plus 2 is 6. I haven't rolled a crit in a while. It's 9 total. And then it is Blizzbird's turn. We probably just have it headbutt the Nassau. It doesn't have any movement. Feels weird, but I'll use the token to move 3. 1, 2, 3. Maybe just 2. So there's 1 -2 symbol on this black die. So there's a 1 in 6 chance that if we do the second thing, well, headbutt costs 2 anyway. So we're about to run out of energy on Blizzbird. So you know what? I'm just going to convert this wild into a basic attack. We'll also use these 2 basic attacks. We can use the 3rd number, which is 3. Piercing ignored armor, but it doesn't matter. 3 damage with the black die. -1 is 2 is enough to finish off Nassau. We do have to spend 2 energy to do that headbutt. We already spent 1 to convert the wild, but that's okay. RoboMon can overspend energy. They'll just be done that turn. So Nassau is out, and so is Blizzbird. Combo Vine is up next. Regener has really been a champ here. Combo Vine gets a 3, which means it wants to hit a water, earth, or electric type, which we don't have. And a 3, it wants to do Threshing Blow, which has a range of 5, well within range of that. Nature type attack, though, is going to be disadvantaged against air. It's hitting for 5. So 5 with disadvantage, -3 is 2, and we can easily block that, which means we will go up to the top of the next round. As long as I didn't lose track at any point, Regener still has 2 energy left, and that means we can make a nice big fan attack. So I'm going to use this, should I use another quick charge on a RoboMon that only has 1 energy left? Or 1 health left? Brings up another question. Can I spend 1 energy to convert this into a special attack symbol without spending it and then use this quick charge? Probably not, right? But I'm going to use the quick charge even if it ends up being wasted, because this is the end of the series. Puts Regener back up to 6. We are going to spend that 1. I'm not going to fudge it, so we'll spend 1, 2, 3. Oh no, we have our token. Why not just use the token instead? Spend 2 energy for fan attack though, saving our token 4 damage with advantage. I think is a guaranteed knockout. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7, 4 is 11. 13, 16, which is 1 more than Combo Vine's 15 hit points. And we beat the big guy in a big 6v5, but we only even used 3 of our RoboMon. I was planning to bring out Pandal to come in clutch, but we didn't even need him. Regener lasted the whole fight, help of a couple quick charges. So with that, I think I'll travel home, back to the Slurry Steppe, back down to the Cobalt Woods, back across to Camp Cobalt, through there to the old road, and back to Copper Ridge with the Copper Ridge music. Let Gramp know how we're doing. We still had a couple quests. Never found a toy for the fisherman, a lure for the lady at the jetty, a comic book for Calvin. Never found a microchip or a power core. Didn't get to use my VHS, broken watch, pocket boat voucher, or my broken RoboMon tracker. Would have been nice to get to use one of those. I wonder if I missed something somewhere. Completing 1 quest would have been nice. I wonder if I just missed that power core somehow. But anyway, that's the demo. That's the prototype. Close them up. That's all there is to see. Thanks for watching. Check out the campaign if you haven't already. Almost over, if it's not already. If you didn't watch the whole series, check out the playlist in the description. Otherwise, stay tuned for more games. I'm sure I'll revisit RoboMon once the final copy comes sometime next year, hopefully in 2023. Stay tuned to the channel for more TCGs, board games, maybe even video games. We'll see. Thanks for watching. Subscribe so we can get more subscribers, and bye.